What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 170th edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, a.k.a. the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time, a.k.a. the Little Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast, either with the J Train. Here are my co-hosts, Cousin BigThad, a.k.a. the gatekeeper of the DMV, a.k.a. the unofficial mayor of Prince George's County. Yep. How's everything going with you, my man?
I'm good, Cuzzo. I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing good. So, I've been set up, been ready. One of the very few times where, I've been ready, been well prepared, and forgot to connect my cell phone to the mixer.
I was wondering where the sound bites, where that went. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I was like,
forgot to do that. And,
I said perfect. I heard perfect in my mind. You know what I'm
saying? So I'm going to do that now. BigThad, man. How's the week so far?
Week's been good. Can't complain, man. Just another day in the government life. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of wild. But then again, I'm seeing some things, and I'm like, wow, folks have no idea. But I can't say nothing, so I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah. So, no, everything's good, man. I can't complain, brother.
That's what's up.
What's going on with you? Anything good with you this week?
I mean, started the last semester this week. Okay. I have a mass media law course and a small business financing course. Ooh. The small business finance, I was a little nervous because I've always heard people say, oh, yeah, finance classes are hard. Oh, my gosh. And I've heard intelligent people say that. Then I looked at the syllabus and the assignments, and I'm kind of like, this looks pretty straightforward. This shouldn't be too bad. Okay. I even looked at the professor on Rate My Professor, which is a clutch website.
Got to. Every single time.
Everyone said she's a great teacher. The work was about medium, the difficulty. Okay. So it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard. Right. She was a great teacher with great feedback, very understanding, assignment straightforward. So I was just like, oh, great. Boom. I'm glad I registered for the right professor. Right. My mass media professor, there weren't too many ratings on Rate My Professor, but the few that were there.
It was one of those professors.
Yeah, they weren't good, but I was
either not good or they just don't have nothing because they're pretty much brand new.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, whatever, but I still need the class and I want to take it now because it is one of those courses that I definitely need, so I want to get it out the way earlier. So I was like, look, I'm going to take it anyway. There is a lot of reading, but once you read the assignment, once you read the material, it does look like it is straightforward. Okay. So far, man.
Neither of those is your capstone, right?
No. Okay. Capstone, I'm going to do it later.
Okay. So when you doing your capstone, what,
the plan October? Is to do it, yes, October. So it's the last.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you call it? Your experience, what did you have to do for your capstone?
Look, so it was kind of funny because, our capstone for cybersecurity supposedly entailed everything that you could possibly take in that major would be in that course. So I'm sitting there I'm looking at some of the topics. I'm like, yo, I didn't have nothing to do with this. Okay. But it was for me at least because it's, IT stuff. So it was all labs and papers, you know what I'm saying? But it went fine. I didn't have no quizzes or nothing. That's the one thing I loved about IT on that level. It was it was no quizzes, bro. I was like, yo, let's go. I hate them quizzes, man.
So you had to write papers in that one.
Yeah. Definitely had to write papers in that capstone. But it was it just encompassed everything out of the major into that one course. But
so
it pretty much gave you everything, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I understand that's the purpose of a capstone, but what I've seen from and I'm a communication studies major, what I've seen from all the syllabus or syllabi from all my communications courses, they're like, oh, it's just a review and make sure you keep your documents from your previous classes so you can use them in your portfolio, but it doesn't actually mention what is actually going to happen in the class.
Right. I got you.
So I'm kind of like, so is this just I create a portfolio and that's it, like, or what? So I don't know. That's why I was asking.
I got you.
For you,
I think it's all different for all. You know how that goes. It's just different for all the majors. But have you looked at the not the capstone, the syllabus for that one? Yeah,
I have not, because I actually just forgot to actually look at the actual syllabus. I could probably
you could find it.
I could probably find it somewhere without actually because I'm in the class. I need to actually
but it won't let you see it for like a week prior.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I can't see
what you could do is go on the main site. And if you look on the right hand side, they'll say something like schedule of classes. Click on that joint, find your capstone course, but find it for it'll be like the previous course
semester. Okay.
Previous semester of when you're taking it. And it'll say close, but you could click on it and you'll be able to open up the syllabot.
Okay.
The syllabus doesn't change.
Yeah, I realized that.
The
it
syllabus
does not change. And not only that, Rosie, she's a professor, and she was like, yeah, for our online courses, she was like, yeah, our syllabus doesn't change. We create it, and every section is doing literally the same thing.
Right.
In the online courses,
it's just like the professors might do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and it might grade it a little different.
Yeah. Some of them are just like, okay, you did the paper, it's this long. Okay, here you go. You know what I'm saying? If they could tell what your topics are, they're like, all right, cool, there you go.
Yep.
It's in APA format.
Yeah.
There you
APA 7th edition.
Right. Got to be the 7th, not the 6th.
Yeah,
the 7th,
that started last fall. It's easier than 6th. Actually,
yeah, for sure.
It's a lot easier.
It makes
to
no
remember.
sense. Like, why would you change it to 7 and then make it easier?
Like, it's a lot easier. You just need the author, date, title, and website.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it.
If it has a publisher, then you can put it, but that's really all you need.
Yeah. I don't know why people don't use the citation stuff. Like the generator.
Yeah,
the generator. Like, why would it's the same thing.
I mean, I had a professor that told me, just use this. And he sent the link. And that was the second one. Remember we used to use Citation Machine?
And
then this one professor was like, nah, use this one from NC State University, their library.
Oh.
And you don't have to do the ads. You don't have to do you just, as soon as you get to the link, enter all the information, it spits it all out. Boom.
Oh, snap. Yeah, you're going to have to send that to me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send you that one.
Yeah, at least for my capstone, because my capstone don't start until October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have we, when did you apply for graduation yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right, cool. Because we got a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I was in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Is it, so
we have up until
October, right?
or something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But we can apply now.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. So I'm going to now. Just say that.
Yeah.
I thought I had to wait till September or something. I thought I saw something like that.
That's what I thought too. I think it was you have to kind of wait until your semester starts, and then they'll go through, because it takes them a month to figure it out anyways.
Okay.
I don't understand why it takes a month, but it's for some reason they'll tell you apply by October. You'll know in November by Thanksgiving. What? All you have to do is look at the name and look at what you're taking this semester.
Yeah.
Because it literally tells you, you have enough credits to graduate to a degree, but it's all based on how you do. But then I found out that's not even true, because you just apply. Then they say, yeah, you're eligible. Then they'll give you, do you want to graduate in December? You want to graduate in May? And you could pick either one.
Okay.
But technically you don't. It's say you don't pass your last course.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can still walk across the stage. You know what I'm saying? You just won't get your diploma.
Yeah, you won't get it. It won't get conferred.
Yeah, you just won't get conferred yet. That's all until you pass the course. I'm wow.
Nah, I mean, either way, my degree is going to get conferred December.
In December, yeah.
I need a job ASAP.
Yeah, I don't mind my my upcoming pay raise.
Hey,
when that gets conferred. So I got you on that, bro.
hey.
Hey.
We got a lot to get into for this week's show. We're going to talk about the infamous interview on Bleacher Report with Kevin Durant on Draymond Green's show Chips. We're also getting into Joel Embiid's extension and another player's extension that just happened a couple hours ago. Our way too soon NFL predictions after week 1 of the preseason, the race of the century. We're going to get into Haiti, Afghanistan, also Eminem and some of his music, and a proposal for the NBA. That's our topic for the Reddit topic of the week. Just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available, and that includes Anchor, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Also, you can watch the live stream every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching right now, just let us know in the comments section who you are, where you're watching from. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you're up to date with all of our content. We got some big news coming up a little later in a few weeks that we're trying to work some kinks out, but soon as we get that, everything should be good once we get all of that in order. So stay tuned for the big news. Let's now get into the NBA. Big Thad.
Yeah.
We thought that, okay, NBA preseason is wrapping up. We're in the official off season. NBA, we're not going to hear anything from the NBA. All the big news happened, free agency, trades, blah, blah, blah. And then Bleacher Report drops an interview. Big Dad, did you have a chance to watch the full interview?
No, I watched I saw a clip. And I heard that fool say something stupid, and I turned it off after.
Okay, so who's the fool? I think I know who you're talking about.
But you know who it is. Draymond Green. For sure.
Put some respect on my name.
You know what I'm saying? I can't stand that.
So what did Draymond Green that you did say that you did not like?
He basically was like, if you stayed, we would have won 5 championships. Man, get out my face. Shut up.
Well,
no, wasn't going to happen.
It's not a far-fetched statement.
They didn't even win the championship that year.
Yeah, because KD ruptured his Achilles, and then, KD ruptured his Achilles. Once that happened, they were going to lose. Yeah. I know people bring up the Clay injury, but that happened late in Game 6. They were already losing in that game. You know it wasn't like they were winning. Clay goes out, and then the Raptors storm back in a victory. They were losing the game. It was close, but they were losing the game. So that's what bothered you.
Yeah, that's definitely what bothered me.
I think he's telling the truth though. They could have done some real damage.
They could have, but you never know what's gonna happen. But you can't just be like straight up, yo. We could have won. We would have won 5. He didn't say we could have won 5. He said we would have won 5.
So they went 3 times, 2 victories, one with Kevin Durant's injury, which we even said from the jump that this looks like an Achilles injury when they kept on saying, oh, it's a calf, it's a calf, it's a calf. Yeah. And like less than 10 minutes into his return, boop, ruptured Achilles.
Once you seen that calf jiggle, that was it.
Yeah, it was over. It was over. Now, Draymond Green, there was an interesting question, which I believe everyone wants to hear or find out what the answer was to this question. Draymond Green asked, about the infamous argument that occurred, during the Clippers game on the sideline. Here is the clip or the statement. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to share the screen. Okay. What I'm going to do, though, is...
I mean, you kind of shared the screen already.
I kind of have to. I think that's how the audio is going to have to come in. Actually...
Maybe not.
No, that's not what I'm going to do.
See,
because, this interview...
You see the ugly look on his face? See,
this interview is so popular that I'm scared it's going to take the stream down. So, like everyone, Bleacher Report is going to be like, oh, yeah, we definitely taking this one down.
We need you to take that down, sir.
Yeah. So that's so let me wait and actually cue it up. Actually, man, I had it up.
The look on his face just says fool all over it.
So here is the audio from that interview. Draymond Green's asking Kevin Durant.
he would be asking us
the question we all want to know.
For my own personal sanity, because I've been getting my ass kicked ever since you left. So just for my own personal sanity, how much did our argument against the Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors?
It wasn't the argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr, act like it didn't happen. Bob Myers and tried to just discipline you and think that would put the mask over everything. I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that, we had to get that shit all out. I remember watching The Last Dance, and when Scotty didn't go into the game, the whole team in the locker room said, Scotty, that was fucked up that you did that. We needed that. We just needed to throw all of that shit out on the table and say, yo, Dre, K, like, that was fucked up that we even had to go through that. Let's just wipe our hands with that and go finish the task.
So, go ahead. What do you have to say about that, Thad?
I'm echoing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. There you go.
Come on, man. Technical difficulties sometimes. No, that sounded good. That sounded good by KD. It makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? It kind of makes sense now that he wanted that, hey, the rest of the team, like, yo, y'all seen this happen. Yo, we're a team. Like, yo, let's hash this shit out and get it done. But everybody else just kind of brushed it off the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost kind of like they were like, it's KD. We don't got nothing to worry about. He's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to talk about. They had their thing. We don't need to talk about it no more or anything like that. And on his side, he's like, nah, we needed the whole team to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Get it out, air their differences, and be done. But guess not. I guess he kind of held on to it and then finally just left. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I mean, I'm glad that they were able to get to this point. We remember that argument, and that was the last season. Kevin Durant was there. I am going to play devil's advocate a little bit, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Durant and Draymond Green said it was management and Steve Kerr that really made the situation worse than it needed to be. Draymond Green even said that in All the Smoke podcast. It was now over a year ago. When he said that in that podcast. Draymond Green did have a different tone during that podcast. It was more during that podcast. He was kind of like, the vibe was that him and KD weren't really cool, but maybe things, maybe obviously things got better between them. It's a year later. A lot of things have happened in life. They've both gotten older and they both come to a common ground that the Warriors organization.
They both just want a gold medal.
Yeah, and that too, everything, they're feeling good, they're friends,
right.
And they patched things up. They both agreed that it was management that made the situation worse than it is. I'm going to play devil's advocate, though.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned Steve Kerr, and then also mentioned The Last Dance. And even before The Last Dance, if you are a huge NBA fan or a huge YouTube NBA fan, we've known the story about how Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr. How Michael Jordan would get on his teammates, and they had their beefs even in the midst of 2 3-peats.
Right.
Maybe Steve Kerr is like, yo, this is what happens. We've won twice. This is the 3rd year. People are getting a little angry, a little upset. It's being a mental drain on them.
Right.
This is what happens during that run. And he could have just seen it as, you know what? Draymond, what you said was super disrespectful compared to what KD said to you, because obviously they were both angry and saying things, but there are times where someone can go overboard, and maybe they saw it as Draymond Green, you went overboard, so hey, you gotta apologize. And they go on to also mention, and Draymond Green said it in All the Smoke a year ago, and he said it in this interview, that after they got home, because that was game in LA, they flew back to the Bay Area. They spent like an hour and a half at the airport with Draymond Green. This is Kerr and Bob Myers. And they were like, yo, you got to apologize for what happened. He was like, nah. And then they said, all right, let's wait till the morning, till we go to practice in the morning, and then we will readdress it, get to practice in the morning. They were like, yo, so are you going to apologize? They were like, no. And that's when they said, oh, we're going to suspend you for the game. Now, I do have a problem with that. The whole, you have to apologize or we're suspending you.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, like I can understand where you were like, yo, trying to encourage him to apologize for the situation, but to sit here and say, if you don't apologize, we're going to suspend you. Yeah, that's a problem. Katie even also goes on to talk about, I wish, and maybe I don't remember, so let me not say they didn't address this. They actually didn't address this one. I wish they would have actually gotten to, ultimately, why did you leave OKC?
Right.
And you know how I feel about that situation. Yeah. The move, it's twofold. The move was obviously great for his career. He won 2 championships.
Right.
The game was easier for him.
Right.
At the same time, he left a situation where they were up 3-1 against the Warriors. Him and Russ fumbled the bag in game 5, 6, and 7.
Right.
And famously game 6. But game 5, 6, and 7, they fumbled the bag collectively.
Right.
Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And honestly, you go back and look at the games, look at the stat line, look at the play-by-play of the game. Just go on Basketball Reference. If you are the best player on the team and you play the way that Kevin Durant played in that series, I am going to give you most of the blame, more than Russell Westbrook. Okay, it happens. All the greats have bad performances, from literally Magic to Jordan to Kareem to Russell to... Actually, I can't say Russell. Russell just really dominated. LeBron, Kobe, they all had moments where they didn't come through. And it happens. My issue with the move to the Warriors was just, you were almost there. Your team said, we're coming back. You dip. And then you use Twitter to basically talk about everyone else. Because that's the part a lot of people keep on forgetting. Yeah. That's what really rubs me the wrong way. You go on Twitter on your burner accounts to talk about everyone else instead of your shortcomings.
Right.
And then you go to the team that obviously beat you. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that was a very interesting move. Very weak move, in my opinion. Especially,
for sure.
We know the NBA is a business. We know it's a business. But it's still a game. There's still a playground, childlike spirit to it. And you know good and well, if you are one of the best players in the entire gym or the outdoor court, and you're playing, the way you play, but you play, you have a couple bad games, and you lose to a team that's better than the team that you have, and then you say, yeah, I'm going to go run with that team that's been beating me. Everyone's going to look at you crazy and be like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what? You're one of the best players. You're supposed to want to beat that team. Yes, he has 2 championship rings you can never take away. 2 championship rings that are very valuable. I'm not going to sit here and be like they're tainted. Like, I heard someone say that the other day. Those are tainted finals. No, he balled his ass off for those finals and for those finals MVPs.
This ain't tainted?
Yes, I've heard that it's tainted. I'm not going that way. What I am going to do, though, is say if some championships are worth more.
Yeah.
And I know someone can be, contrarian and say, well, obviously that means one of them are worth less. I'm like, well, if you want to go that way, I'm more of a half full optimist about this.
Right.
I'm not saying Dirk Nowitzki is better than Kevin Durant because he is not. And we're going to get more into that in our top 75 NBA players of all time.
Perfect.
How far have you gotten, BigThad?
Nowhere.
I've been making great progress with that. But back to that. That run that Dirk Nowitzki had with the Mavericks in 2011,
that was
more impressive than what, one of Kevin Durant's championship rings. I'm sorry. It's more impressive.
Yeah.
He as the man took that team, put it on his back. A team that did not have the caliber that the Warriors have. Anyways, I'm just super shocked that
that question didn't get
that question didn't come up. But there was a question about playing with guys, and I'm actually pull it up here. There was a question about playing with guys like Russ and Kyrie Irving and James Harden. I'm going to play that right now.
Kyrie, who has a chip on his shoulder that sometimes goes too far. And James, who has a chip on his shoulder that probably sometimes goes too far.
He mentioned Russell earlier.
Playing with all the guys that you play with that you could say, he probably go way too far.
We all go too far, bro, and we all got major chips on our shoulders. There's a million of us. Imagine 1 million people trying to run into this door right now. Somebody gonna get elbowed, kicked, pushed over. Like, we all trying to fit into a one-peg spot. 100 millions of us trying to fit into these 12, 15 spots on teams. So we gotta have that chip on our shoulder, and I always appreciate the people that acknowledge that it's tough to make it to the league. And I had to kick a lot of motherfuckers down to get here. I had to shun a lot of my friends and sacrifice a lot of the personal shit that I loved as a kid so I can get here. So we all of us naturally are underdogs, got chips on our shoulders because it's hard to make it to this point. But the person that went too far was always Draymond Green. To the point where I felt like you were trying to establish that you're not playing around. Like,
yep. So he discusses all of them, man. Very good interview. I would say it was one of those that just out of the blue, no one was really expecting it, man. No one was really expecting it. So I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad that they're clearing the air, and not just that. I'm glad that they're entertaining us as fans. Like, we love this. Like, we love to see the ins and out of the league, and that's one thing I wish we had saw with some of the older greats, because the lack of technology, they weren't able to do it. The lack of empowerment the lack of empowerment. Yeah. I'm glad that we're able to see this now with the current NBA. What do you think about that, Thad?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't have wanted to have a Draymond Green show.
Halfway, take a.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Really don't like Draymond.
I don't like Draymond, son. I don't like him at all. I don't even think he's good. You know
wow.
Halfway, take a.
I don't think he's good at all. Like,
you're funny.
He
man.
didn't even deserve that Olympic gold medal. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like that dude. There's something about him.
Oh, man. Other news in the NBA. Joel Embiid signed a contract extension. BigThad, did you see the information on that?
Oh, I did see it, and I can't remember what it was. But it was worth it, though. It was definitely worth it.
We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. They had to do it. There was no way they could get around it.
Yeah, it was a Supermax extension.
So it was like 4 years, 170 maybe?
So he did the 4 year one, or did he do the 5? Because 5 would be the Supermax. Or
no, but he had a year left.
He did the 4. You're right.
Because he had a year left.
Yes.
And they did the extension.
You're right. 4 years, $196 million.
Okay, it was $196.
Almost $50 million a year. It's worth it. They had to do it. You got to keep your talent, especially if you want to do the whole trust the process. You know,
Are they still is that still a thing?
Personally, I think the process is not worked. Because you unfortunately have Ben Simmons being Ben Simmons. You know?
The process has like recycled a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? But it's still trust the process.
And talking about Ben Simmons, he was working out with Rajon Rondo, so video came out of that with
him shooting again.
Yeah, you know, I don't
this
care
is
about that.
Two off seasons in a row where there's video footage of him shooting. And this time, he actually looked a hell of a lot better shooting than we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Because you remember, me and you were talking about it, and you see the video of him shooting, and he's just shooting like he's a right-hander, but he's left-handed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But in this video, he looked good. There was good form, everything, shooting good. I just don't get it, bro. How in the offseason you could shoot fine, and then season you don't even attempt to shoot?
It's all mental.
I don't get it.
It is all mental, I think. And also, and this is me speculating, I don't think he's ever really worked hard on the basketball court for anything. So this is like real adversity that he's having to go through. And he's mentally shutting down. Like, he needs to go see a therapist to make sure he gets better. Now, at the same time.
With me is I don't understand how all of a sudden the playoffs, it's a psychological issue now. During the season, he was fine. Yeah, he wasn't
Was
shooting.
he fine, though? That's the thing. Like, looking back, was he really fine?
He was like, what, 20, what was he, 28 and something? 28
Yeah, but
and
think
6?
about the shots he was taking, though.
The same shots he had open in the playoffs, and he just wasn't taking them.
Maybe.
The layups. Going to the rim?
He wasn't passing up layups in the regular season.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. You are right about that.
It's the same stuff he was doing in the regular season, but he was not doing it in the playoffs. Like, he would get to that point, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna pass the ball." So I don't. What's the difference with the playoffs and the regular season besides like you're playing for a chip, but you're playing for a chip in the regular season also. You want to try to get the best record. So
and they had the best record. You're right. Yeah, man.
I don't get it.
But Daryl Morey, I mean, he seems like he wants a haul with the rumors that are out there. Now, they're all rumors. We don't know if he really wants to trade Ben Simmons, but the rumors are out there. So, I mean, I've been saying this, that it should just be, they should just try and trade for Dame straight up and get it done. But
yeah, he wants like a couple first round picks.
Yeah, and players, players that actually are good in a rotation. So
right. Like, what?
asking for way too much. Think about this. According to the reports last year, they could have got James Harden.
Yes, they could have. They definitely.
And it was Daryl Morey that turned it down.
Yeah, the former Houston GM.
Yeah. Because like, well, I got Ben Simmons. Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time when
no, that's James Harden, man. That's James Harden. He could be your point guard and your shoot guard. Like James Harden and Danny Green.
That's true.
That's a good backcourt. James Harden and Seth Curry.
Is it really a good backcourt?
Yes, that's a good
Danny
backcourt.
Green getting shots off?
Yes, you saw what he did. You saw he played pretty good.
With Harden in the backcourt, is Danny Green still getting shots?
Yes, because you're going to have to double James Harden still. You're still going to have to guard.
Harden's still going to shoot the ball.
He's going to pass it too. That's
He can shoot it on the double team.
He's still going to have to pass the ball. James Harden and Seth Curry. You might lack on offense, but we saw what Seth Curry did.
Yeah, I wish Seth would finally get back to his Duke days. There's something with
you mean the days when he wasn't good?
Wow.
Days he wasn't good?
No, we'll see. I was about to say there's a thing with Duke shooting guards that when they come to the NBA, they never get back to that point where they were at Duke. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah. And Seth still hasn't been as good as he was at Duke in the NBA.
I think he's definitely
just like the man you hate.
The man I hate. Who's the man I hate?
Quinn.
First of all, I don't hate Quinn.
Jeremy hates Quinn Cook.
I
y'all.
do not hate Quinn.
He hates little bro.
I
Quinn
do
Cook.
not
He
hate
hates
Quinn.
him.
I'm just very truthful about Quinn.
You hate Quinn.
That is, I do not hate him. Just see, I don't want that out in the atmosphere.
Quinn crossed you somewhere along the line over the years, and you feel this way.
Oh,
like, did you go to St. Jerome's one day when he was playing? Is that what it is?
Talking about someone that I've said this about someone, and it's a whole nother player, and then actually it was someone on Facebook. They were like, something they said about this specific player, LeBron James. And I'm like, yo, you talk about him a lot. Did he hurt you somewhere along the line? Like, because the stuff you're saying is just like, you just continually bring him up.
Did you play against him one day in high school and he scored like 50 on you?
Like,
or
did he
something?
steal your girl? Like, did he, steal some money from you? Did he disrespect you? Like, I don't know, man. Anyways.
Did DeMatha play TA at some point in time while you were in high school and Quinn was
When I was in high school? No. Well, first of all, I was way
you're older
ahead
than
of
Quinn.
Quinn.
You're ahead of Quinn. Yeah. Never mind.
And when I was there, we didn't play. The 4 years I was there, we actually didn't play DeMatha. It was literally before. We went a few years even after.
Yeah.
Because we were actually part of the Beltway League.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we didn't really have to for your non-conference games, you kind of want to play some other teams. Yeah. But we were playing.
Y'all used to play us all the time.
Yeah, when we were independent.
I don't know why y'all would do that, but
I mean, you acting like y'all would just blow us out. Like, come on.
We used to blow y'all out by 30 easily.
Oh my goodness.
And that's because Morgan wouldn't let it go higher than 30.
Not 30. But anyways, I believe the last time we played y'all, we beat y'all though. The last time.
Probably not.
I believe we did. I'm gonna have to ask Marlon because I believe we beat you all.
Y'all probably played the freshman team.
No, it wasn't the freshman team. It was the varsity team.
Actually, come to think about it, y'all didn't even play.
Now you're just making up stuff.
No. Listen, hold on.
I'm gonna get someone from those teams to come on the podcast and discuss this.
So you want me to call? Who you want me to call? Forte or Buggins?
Look, okay,
which one do you want?
Hold on. You can call them.
Forte,
obviously, y'all beat
us.
Obviously, y'all beat us. But I'm going to get someone who actually played to verify if y'all played, if TA played the freshman of the varsity team.
Look, all y'all saw was the math on there. Y'all probably thought it was the varsity team. It was actually the JV team. Y'all probably still lost by 30.
No. Anyways.
I told you about this. Y'all are like the freshman team at DeMatha.
No, that didn't happen. We play the varsity team. Big trade in the NBA. Patrick Beverly and Rondo went to the Grizzlies.
Wow.
In return for Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I heard this was a salary situation trade. I'm kind of like, yo, you got rid of the heart and soul. And yes, offensively, he is, very pedestrian, but defensively and the attitude that Patrick Beverly brings to the team is
literally plays
needed.
Against your best player every game.
Yeah.
Literally the best player on your team, Patrick Beverly, is the defender on him.
That's then he was traded again.
Oh wow!
To the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves gave up Jarrett Culver and someone else to the Mavericks, so he'll be playing with the Timberwolves.
I don't think he's even going to play there.
I think he would.
I'm thinking he's going to get a buyout, and he's going to go to the Lakers.
Nah, Lakers got, and see, people are saying that about Rondo, but I'm like, Lakers got too many people. Like, who's going to play?
They still have like 3 or 4 roster spots.
Yeah, but those 3 or 4 roster spots need to be for like Mac McClung and and honestly, yes, I spoke about him last week in a not so positive light, but a team like this is where you take the risk on Mac McClung. Be like, hey, you get to work out with the team, you get to learn under these dudes, and if you got to go to the G League for a few games, go to the G League, but you get to play here because we about to be loaded. We don't need. Like, okay, Lakers, you got LeBron, you got AD, you have Gasol, you have Ellington,
you
have Westbrook.
Still there?
Yeah, so that's 5.
Why is Gasol still there?
I mean, he's under contract still. and you need a center.
You got Dwight Howard.
So then you have Dwight Howard,
Yeah.
Malik Monk,
Yeah.
Kendrick Nunn,
Yeah.
Iguodala. No, sorry, not Iguodala. Ariza. Ariza.
Okay. That's it.
No. There's someone else that came to that team too.
No. It was Horton.
You have Taylor and Horton Tucker, and then there's someone else on the team that's like plays. There's someone else. So that's 10. Like you only play during the regular season 10.
I don't know, man.
And then in the playoffs, you knock it down to 8.
I don't know.
I personally think one of their additions aren't going to be there when the end of the year comes. I think trade deadline, they're gone. To get draft picks, to get because you still got to rebuild somehow.
I don't know, man.
So yeah, I don't think Rondo's going there, man, because
not Rondo. Beverly.
I don't think Rondo or Beverly.
I think Beverly goes.
Yeah, Rondo, they're saying is going to get bought out in Memphis, but I think I don't know how now. If it's up to him, yes. If he wants to stay, I think it would be great for him to stay with Ja.
Yeah.
That would be really good. So,
yeah, they don't have what's his name anymore from Duke. The dude that was tripping people.
Grayson Allen.
Yeah. He got traded for somebody.
He got traded.
Picked up. Yeah, he got traded.
Was he part of the Minnesota trade?
No, was it Minnesota? No. Somewhere up north. Toronto.
Yeah, Minnesota's up north.
No, as in like up north, as in like Toronto, like out of the country up north.
Harold says Bev is trash. Look, offensively we might be able to say that, but defensively and his spirit to the team, that's championship teams need that.
Well, I wouldn't really say he's a great defender, but he always defends the best player on the team though. Rondo
is going to coach eventually,
sure.
And I think he's gonna be one of those guys that get a job at like Memphis. A year or two after.
He's gonna go to University of Memphis with Penny Hardaway,
and then come back
like everybody else.
Rasheed Wallace is at Memphis now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They trying to get the guys to come there.
Yeah.
To be like, yo, you trying to go to the NBA? We got Penny, we got Rasheed. I think Larry Brown is on the staff too.
Yeah, Larry Brown's on the staff. Yep.
We're going to show you everything to get to the NBA. Come on.
I mean, granted, those kids ain't going to know who Larry Brown is, but yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, he's old. They don't know. These kids don't know him.
He is old.
They don't know.
I have some homework for you because I do want to talk about it.
What's up?
You got to watch Untold Malice at the Palace on Netflix.
Oh, it did come out. All right, bet.
Yeah. It's only an hour long.
I mean, I was there for the Malice in the Palace. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean you were there?
I mean, I was relevant during that time when I saw it. You know?
I was like, what?
Like I saw it live.
I was like, what? You were there?
I seen it. No, I wasn't there. Man.
I was like, how do I not know this story?
Yeah, my bad.
I just know because that happened when I was in high school. And I didn't watch the game that night. And then I happened to be, and this is 2004, and we'll rehash this next week when we discuss it. But 2004, technology isn't what it is now.
Right now.
And
I think we still had dial-up then.
I mean, some people definitely still had dial-up. We had DSL, but some people definitely had dial-up still. Yeah. And I just remember going to Fridays the next night and looking. I'm like, what's that they keep on replaying? And the reason why it was big news because Clemson and South Carolina on the very next day, which was the Saturday, they had a fight. And so they were showing both fights back to back. And I'm like, well, hold on. Like, I missed a lot. Like, but yeah, so watch,
yeah, I didn't know it came out already.
Watch Malice. Yeah, it came out last Tuesday. It's about an hour and like 10 minutes, not that long. I wish it could have been a little bit longer, but it was still good. So we could discuss it next week on the podcast.
So it's not going to be another me binge watching a show.
No, it's not a binge watching.
Like two days straight. Like a month long.
I mean, blame your cousin for that. Perfect. Because
I'm blaming you
and not me. Because if I knew that the other person wasn't going to be here, I wouldn't have rushed you to watch it. But people People don't communicate.
I kind of rushed myself. I think I rushed myself.
People don't communicate. You know, we were supposed to talk about it today, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not actually here." You know, things that.
We were supposed to talk about a couple things with her and cousin Juancito, and it didn't happen.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, last before we get out of this NBA segment, the NBA parts of the NBA schedule have been announced.
What's good?
Opening night or opening week. You have Tuesday, October 19th, 2 games at 7:30 p.m. Brooklyn Nets at the Milwaukee Bucks, 10 p.m. Golden State Warriors at the Los Angeles Lakers. On Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m., we have Boston Celtics at New York Knicks, and at 10 p.m., Denver Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns. Thursday, October 21st, there's the Dallas Mavericks at Atlanta Hawks at 7:30. At 10, we have the Clippers at the Warriors. Then on Friday, October 22nd at 7:30, you have Nets at the 76ers. And at 10 p.m., there's the Suns at the Lakers. And then Christmas Day starts off with, at 12 p.m., Hawks at the Knicks. You know, the Knicks always get the 12 p.m. game, except the last 2 years. They've been so bad that they just haven't put the Knicks on Christmas. Knicks have been a state. That's like taking the Cowboys or the Lions off of Thanksgiving just because you're like, y'all are so bad.
Nah, don't even bring that up.
But Hawks at Knicks at 12 p.m. You have at 2:30 p.m. Celtics at Bucks. You have at 5 p.m. Warriors at Suns, 8 p.m. Nets at Lakers, and 10:30 we have Mavericks at Jazz. That is
why have a 10:30 game on Christmas?
Because people watch. I know I do. Or at least I put it on.
You try to watch after. Look. No.
I am kind of passed out by 11.
That's what I'm saying. After all the food we eat with our families, you know what I'm saying? 10 o'clock, we about passed out on the couch. And the game might be on, but we passed out.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, in my family, you know, we have Noche Buena, so the night before. We have dinner,
right?
And then I go to my parents' house, and we have dinner.
I forgot
so it's
all
back-to-back
about
nights.
Yeah.
So by Christmas night, I am passed out. What is Christmas? What day of the week is Christmas this year? Is it a Saturday?
That's a good question. I think you said it was Saturday. No,
I think it is a Saturday. It is a Saturday. So
it is a Saturday. Okay,
I get to relax on Sunday.
Ain't gonna be that bad.
Yeah, I get to relax on Sunday.
Friday night's gonna be lit.
Yeah,
and then Saturday.
Get to relax on Sunday, watch some NFL football on Sunday.
Well, how's that, man? Oh, that's Saturday's gonna be a little weird for you for Christmas.
Why you say that?
'Cause you got grandma and them. You got the church thing on Saturday.
Man, it's still Christmas, dog. It's still Christmas.
You ain't gonna be able to enjoy it.
Nah, I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it. So those are the Christmas Day games. Let's now get into the NFL. Some news came out of the NFL with Deshaun Watson. Have you heard any of that?
I just know he got released.
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. Why did I see something? I swear I saw
Did you
something
see something that I didn't see?
I
like,
thought
what?
I did. Hold on.
I don't think that happened.
I swear he got released.
I know I took a nap today, but I don't think I missed that.
Nah, I don't know, bro.
No, he
Go
did
ahead,
not. He did not get released.
Oh, that's some.
Some more stuff came out about the allegations against him. Harold Law says, "Hold on." Harold Law says, "Free my man." That's what he says.
See, I mean that. I think he should have just been released by now. You know what I'm saying?
So some more stuff came out. One of the accusers spoke about their interaction. Look, we've said this from the jump, and my stance hasn't changed. Deshaun Watson is an extreme creep. He has no game. For the fact that he has to go through all of these hoops to try and get some sexual fantasies off when he is Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
Like, come on.
Like, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know yet, man.
Look,
we don't
based
know.
on the evidence that they've shown so far.
They haven't shown any evidence, sir.
What do you mean? They showed the text messages and the
You're gonna have that. You're gonna
the
have
IG
that.
messages.
You got to wait until the evidence comes out in court.
I mean, it was
for
court.
the true evidence. Sir.
It was court. They were
it
in
wasn't
court.
They
were in court.
No,
it was a deposition.
See, don't count. It don't count.
So
we need jury. We need grand jury and testimony.
So information came out. Look, the dude's a creep. He's a pervert. It's just that based on what was done, it's kind of that's the gray area of sexual crimes. It's like, well, did you as the victim, and in this case it is a woman, and in a lot of cases it is women, but victims in general, did you say no verbally? Was your social cues enough to basically say no? And that's the problem. That is the problem right there, where things are not clear and we get in a situation like this. She was not a massage therapist. She owned a massage business, but she herself was not a massage therapist, wasn't licensed. However, still accepted the assignment for Deshaun Watson. And yeah,
it's all messy, bro.
It's all messy.
Look, and then the FBI's involved.
That one threw me off. I'm like, where's the FBI coming into this?
Well, see, supposedly back in April, Deshaun contacted FBI about extortion.
Oh yes, I remember
because
that.
of one of the plaintiffs that are in this case suing him.
Mm.
So now, with everything else going on, they're now going to Busby or whatever his name is.
Yes.
And been interviewing the plaintiffs and whatnot because they have something like, it seems like partially some of this is extortion. They want to see if this is actually true or not. So if they get involved, that's a whole nother thing, bro. Like, who knows? Because, I mean, we always had that question inside. Also, it's like, is this because they always screened money? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. That's why I say I'll wait until grand jury and anything to even have any opinion on this whole thing, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of why the NFL is kind of like staying back on the sidelines with this, too.
The NFL is doing...
I mean, they're doing like a mini investigation type.
Yeah, they're doing their investigation, but
they're not doing like they usually do, where
they're not reacting and just
no, they're not. They're waiting until all the other stuff goes on before they even make a decision on Deshaun.
Do you think the NFL hasn't put Deshaun on the commissioner's exempt list because, based on their evidence, they haven't found enough, or based on their investigation, they haven't found enough evidence
so far?
Or are they like, we need to learn from our past mistakes and really wait till everything comes out? Which one do you think it is?
I think they want to. I think they want to wait things out just to make sure they don't jump the gun. Because we've always been like, it's almost kind of like they messed up with the Ray Rice thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then a couple of years later, then they kind of messed up on the Antonio Brown thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, has that even been...
Yeah, he served his suspension. Yeah,
no, not the suspension. I mean, is that case even...
I have no idea, but it's not a peep. Went to the Buccaneers, won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Not a peep has come out.
I'm like, wait, okay. Is this still going on? What? But I think that's what it is. They've done things so weirdly lately that they haven't, like, even the dude that was the offensive lineman that beat his girl, Wheeler. Like, have you heard anything about that?
He's just got released. Remember, he got released, and so he's not on the team.
I know he said he was going to whatchamacallit, but still, like, you would have thought the NFL would have said something.
Well, we know why they ain't gonna say nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
About him specifically. They not gonna say nothing about him. Let someone else not be. I mean, look at Antonio Brown. He wasn't on a team. And they were like, yeah, you about to get this 8-game suspension.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Before you even get on a team.
But I mean, like, you didn't hear nothing about that at all on the NFL side at all. So.
Yeah. I think they're learning. I think they're learning from past mistakes and just saying, hey, let's really wait till everything comes out, because you don't want to be in a situation like Ray Rice where, all right, the evidence we have, you're going to get a couple games or 3 games or 4 games. And in the case of Ray Rice, it was 2 games. Right. And then literally the day he's about to return, DMC drops the video and it's like, okay, indefinitely. So you don't want to be in that situation again.
And he had to have a judge get involved, and next you know, he's like, well, nope, they got to take him off the suspension. So, yeah, that's the last thing you need again.
Week 1 of the preseason, BigThad. What do you have to say about your Washington football team? I got to work on that soundbite for y'all.
There's no sound. What soundbite?
I gotta work on one. So whenever I talk about the Washington football team,
okay.
I guess I could do an instrumental of your fight song, even though is it a fight song?
We don't have a fight song.
Yeah, because it's a racial slur.
We don't have a fight song. So
I can play the instrumental. It's not saying the slur, so yeah.
No, because I'm gonna start singing along to it. I mean, we'll get shut off. So yeah, we don't need to get shut off for that. But I mean, they look all right. You know what I'm saying? Quarterbacks didn't look bad at all. Chase started off good again.
That sack on Cam.
I was like,
first of all, the move he put on the lineman to get to Cam. That's what it was.
He's been working. He's been working this offseason, bro.
Yes, he has. He has. Justin Fields.
They didn't look bad.
Justin Fields played well in his first preseason run. He did have a mistake where he fumbled the ball, but recovered the fumble. But other than that, he looked pretty good. Trey Lance looked really good.
Yo, that touchdown. Yeah, that was good.
Did you hear the announcers, what he called him? No. After the play? He said Trey area. And he said it just like, people from the Bay. Trey area. I was like, what does this old white man know about this? Maybe everyone in the Bay says that, but it shocked me that this old white man definitely said it like that. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find the clip. But
that was hilarious.
But yeah, he played well. Also, Zach Wilson, I didn't really look to see how Zach Wilson played.
I think he started off slow. I think he started off real slow for some reason.
Did you get to see Trevor Lawrence?
No, I did not. All I saw was a Tebow block.
How, Sway?
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, a Tebow attempted block, I guess you could say. I don't know what that was. I honestly don't know what that was.
Look, I saw more about Tim Tebow than Trevor Lawrence when it comes to what happened in the game. I have no idea what happened with Trevor Lawrence, but I do know Tim Tebow he was wide open, but the ball wasn't thrown to him, and then he missed the block, and then there was a running play, which was a terrible block. Well, he was cut on Monday or Tuesday, so his run at tight end is now over. It was pretty expected, though.
He got cut by his coach. You know what I mean?
That's not a good sign. I actually have the clip for. I'm gonna just play the audio, but I have the clip for the call for Trey Lance. Take a listen to this.
Right wing next to McGlinchey. They're going to boot the quarterback left. Here he goes, deep downfield. Trent Sherfield's got it. Trey area.
I'm gonna have to isolate that. Trey area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Harold's talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Said that they looked very suspect. I added the very. Did you watch the Dallas Cowboys. BigThad, did you watch them?
They are the Dallas Cowboys
on Hard Knocks.
America's team.
Dog. First of all, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know you're a hater.
Second of all, I've never watched an episode of Hard Knocks.
You did tell me that last week.
It's an evil world we live in.
But you're a hater.
You told me not to watch Hard Knocks and watch the other joint.
No, I told you which ones to watch and which ones not to watch.
Didn't you tell me to look at was a Hulu? The other one that was kind of like Hard Knocks but better.
All or Nothing.
All or Nothing
on Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Hulu, Amazon Prime.
That's how I started watching about Manchester City.
Perfect.
And that's how I became a Manchester City fan.
Perfect.
We'll talk about that a little bit later in our quick hitter segment. So Hard Knocks, episode 2. They showcase what happened after the Hall of Fame game. They get into the Dak injury and how he is not throwing the ball until at the end, near the end of the episode, he's getting light throwing. They also get more into Micah Parsons, how he, wants to play more football, get more reps in the game. And they're like, nah, man, you already did enough work. The starting defense against the Cardinals in that game looked good. I'm not going to say great. I'm not going to say elite. They just look good. And
Your
the fact that they look
terrible.
good is an improvement from the last 2 seasons. So
the DBs, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Micah Parsons too forced the fumble, and Keanu Neal, Keanu Neal forced the fumble, but Micah Parsons made the hit and stood up the receiver to help with the fumble. They also had a undrafted rookie, he was undrafted rookie last year. So undrafted player, he was on the practice squad last year, but he's trying to make the team. His last name is Kamara. He's from the Ivory Coast. Migrated to the United States as a refugee during their Civil War. He went to Arizona. What school did he go to? He lived in Arizona. I forgot what school he went to. But they were just showing how he was trying to get used to playing the edge rusher position. Okay. He's only like 230, so a little light for the edge rusher, but super fast. And in the preseason game, he had a sack fumble. But then there was a flag on the play.
Always the case.
For false start. So the play just didn't even count.
Wow.
But like they said, like the coaches and the team, they're like, yeah, it might not counted on the game, but we saw what you did.
Right.
And he actually had a decent game when I went back and looked at the highlights. In practice, he was struggling, but in the game, he actually looked pretty decent. And the Cowboys aren't expecting him to be a starter, but they want to see if he can be a rotational type guy.
Right.
So that was pretty much Hard Knocks for this week. Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys.
They are the Dallas Cowboys.
Nobody cares.
America's team.
Nobody cares. Nobody literally cares at all.
Let's now get to Major League Baseball. Talking about sexual allegations. Trevor Bauer. Some news broke about Trevor Bauer just a couple hours ago. The temporary restraining order that his accuser had against him has dissolved. The judge looked at all the evidence, and so this is what we found out from the hearing. That they released all the text messages. She said she wanted rough sex. And she said she wanted to be choked out. They showed it on ESPN today.
Yeah,
she said she wanted to be choked out.
I thought we knew all that.
No. We didn't know. So initially it was she wanted rough sex and didn't mind choking. What we saw was she wanted to be choked out. There's a difference between being choked and choked out when it comes. And so she wanted to basically be unconscious, and that's what Trevor Bauer did. Now, this is the thing that they're still contending. The accuser's contending that he continued having sex with her once she was unconscious. So they're still trying to, when it gets to the actual trial that is their basically their case that they're trying to make that Trevor Bauer continued having a sexual act with her while she was unconscious. More things came out before Trevor Bauer.
Okay, this is weird.
And it explains why it took her 40 days to even put the restraining order from the incident to when the restraining order came. She did not want to be slut shamed, understandably, because what came out was
is that really slut shaming though?
Well, it is, because this is what came out after.
Okay, let me know. Let me listen. Go ahead.
She, before Trevor Bauer, what has came out in the hearing was she was with Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres.
Ooh, okay.
And their pitcher Clevenger.
Ooh.
And she, in text messages with her friends, said, yeah, I could take advantage of Trevor Bauer. He's just as stupid as Fernando Tatis and Clevenger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not looking good for her.
Not looking
good for her by any means. Just with that alone.
Yes, not looking good. I'm going to say the same thing I said about Deshaun Watson. Trevor Bauer is still a pervert, still a creep.
Yeah, he's weird. But you know what I'm saying? There's weird people do weird sex things.
And I think what he did was wrong, and I'm standing behind that. Now, legally, criminally, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. So that's the difference. So I still think he's wrong. Harold asks how does she know if she was unconscious? Well,
what?
She went unconscious, dude.
Oh no, Harold.
She went unconscious.
Harold, no.
But they also did bring in a medical examiner, and they said the medical examiner had years of doing this. Doing what they call like the rape kits, or they have other acronyms for them. And she said this was the worst that she's ever seen. Like the bruises and the injuries she sustained. So look, I understand you want it rough, but I don't think anyone wants to end up in the hospital.
I mean, oh man, it's another messy.
Broken bones in her face, bruises.
I mean,
punches to the genital area. Come on.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't do something like this.
For sure, we wouldn't do something like this.
If you came to me, if you came to me and said, I want you to punch me in my face, it's not happening. It's just not happening. You're weird. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you even start talking about stuff like that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Hit me with a belt or what? No, I'm good. Like, you doing too much right now. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of don't want the gag in the mouth and chains and I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Like, you too weird for me. you just weird, real weird. But from what you tell me about Trevor Bauer, he's a weird dude. He's just as weird.
He's a weird dude. Like it seems straight up his alley. Like other news in baseball, Freddie Freeman hit for the cycle last night against the Marlins. Second Braves player to do that in Braves history.
Ooh, who was the pitcher that got the complete game in his first
there
debut?
Was a no-hitter, you're right.
Yeah, he got a complete game, and it was his first major league debut.
You know what? It's so funny. I don't even I know it happened. I just don't know who it is.
I can't remember who it is, yo. But it just happened like a couple of days ago. But Freeman, though, that's pretty dope. I think he had a cycle before the 6th inning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Other news in Major League Baseball, you know Jack Morris.
Why do I know Jack Morris?
He was a pitcher for the Twins on their championship team in the early 90s. Also is the color commentator for the Detroit Tigers. Now, he has a history of saying wild and reckless things. He's been reprimanded numerous times, and he keeps on coming back because he is a baseball legend. I don't know, but, a baseball legend. I've definitely heard the name Jack Morris before. Yeah. Well, he had something to say about Shohei Ohtani. Listen to this.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani? Be very, very careful.
What?
Yes.
What?
For those that might have missed it, let's play it again.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful.
He then issued an apology.
Damn.
The apology was kind of weak. If I offended anyone, I'm sorry. And I don't want to be offensive to the Asian community. But it wasn't as bad as Ken Rosenthal last year. Remember when he was doing his apology and it was a home run and he was like, oh, and there's a home run in center field, and then continued his apology. It wasn't as bad as that one. But yeah, man.
Well, see, that's kind of bad because hello, Shohei is from Japan, right?
Yes.
Why was he trying to sound like Bruce Lee?
But see, that's the problem when you lump all Asians together with stereotypical language. This is what you get.
He did kind of sound like Bruce Lee a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, and he's that old enough to know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Harold said he got caught up in his whiteness. Yes, for sure, for sure. White people since the beginning of time.
I can't.
Or the beginning of whiteness. Not gonna say time,
Come on, Jack. Come on,
so yeah,
Jack.
he was actually suspended today or yesterday indefinitely. So,
okay.
He'll ultimately get his job back, I believe, unless they're like, look, we've gone through this already. Detroit has had a history with their color commentators and their play-by-play announcers. So this is not their first time having controversy along these lines. Let's now get into our quick hitters. Manchester City fell in their opening game.
It's an evil world we live in.
Doing Manchester City things.
Yeah, I know. You and my friend Rome were laughing at me on Twitter. Sitting there like, yo, why are you laughing at my pain? That Manchester City fell. The English Premier champion fell week 1 in the English Premier League season. They should be able to bounce back in their second match.
Oh, they definitely should.
They should be.
They're playing a bottom level team. They should.
They should. The race of the century, BigThad.
Hold up. This is not the the Tyreek Hill.
Well, there's that one. There's Tyreek Hill versus Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt's gonna put a gold medal down. Tyreek Hill is gonna put a Super Bowl ring on the line, and they're gonna race a 100-meter dash. Honestly, Thad, right now, who do you think wins that?
Right now, no training, nothing.
Well, I mean, see, this is the thing.
You got to tell me. You got to give me the parameters.
We obviously know Tyreek Hill's training because he's in the NFL. He's at least active. I don't know.
We're talking track training.
Yes, I know. I don't know what Usain Bolt's doing though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. I don't know.
When you say right now, it's just like off the street go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Off the street go. I might still have. Well, actually, is the race going to be on the track? Or is it going to be on the street?
That's the thing. It's still not even clear. We don't know if it's going to be on the track. We don't know if it's going to be on grass. We don't know if it's going to be on pavement.
All right. So if it's on track, I give it to Usain Bolt.
Okay.
If it's on like a field, I give Tyreek.
Very interesting. That's an interesting perspective, and I think it may come down.
You've seen what happened to DK Metcalf.
Yes, he got on that track, and even though he ran fast,
he ran
was eighth.
He ran fast, and he stayed with them. And then that last
75 meter mark,
that last leg, you could see the non,
Oh man, but the real race of the century. This weekend, Saturday in Oregon, Sha'Carri Richardson is going to face Elaine Thompson-Herah. She's also going to face what's her name, Shelly-Ann Frazier.
She's facing all 4 of them.
All 3 of them. Yep. So they're going to finally get the chance to race at this event. in Oregon.
She loses. She's gonna lose by. She's gonna lose. It's gonna be a nice little gap between them and her, and she's gonna lose.
Yeah, I think we don't know how the training was going, so I just got to go what happened with the Olympics. I think the Jamaican young women are going to win this specific race. Let's now get to our champ and chump of the week. We celebrate those who do well.
Wow, winning.
And criticize those who don't.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
It's our champ.
Let's go, champ!
And chump.
Now this guy's a chump.
Of the week. Still cracks you up.
That kills me every time, man. That kills me every time. Let's go, champ!
Oh, man. BigThad. Who's your champ of the week?
Christy Tolliver.
Baby, want a champ.
Got hired as an assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
You know, of course, we know her as a former assistant coach for the Wizards. So, yeah, man, let's go, Dallas. Good job. Now, next thing is to get Becky Hammond as a head coach somewhere. And we're good to go.
Yep. Because this was off the cuff, I forgot his name, honestly. So my champ of the week is my fault, wrong soundbite. My champ of the week goes to the San Francisco 49ers. He was doing TV that day, but usually he's the radio announcer.
Baby, want a champ.
Who came up and said this. That's my champ of the week, man. I gotta give it to him. Champ of the week. I forgot his name because I do listen to sometimes Niners games on the radio. They always say his name, but I can't remember what it is. BigThad, who's your chump of the week?
Rashawn Jones.
Cause you're a chump.
Damn.
Yeah. Just got arrested for the 2006 murder of his teammate, Miami Hurricanes teammate, Brian
It's an
Pata.
evil world we live in.
Who was the teammate? BigThad, repeat that.
Brian Pata.
Yeah, I remember, man.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 16 years ago. Jeez. But yeah, man. Somehow got arrested now for that. Like, yeah.
Right before we came on, I saw ESPN talk about it, and they said that he's been like a person of interest since it happened, but he continued to profess his innocence, and then they did some more investigation, and then ESPN, I guess, had a journalistic segment on, I believe, in Outside the Lines, and just that shed more light on the situation. And he was arrested today and charged first-degree murder, man. Yeah. Man, rest in peace to Brian Pata and prayers to his family.
His teammate.
And his own teammate. And they did say on ESPN that even they don't have any documentation or any sources telling them what the motive was. So no one knows as of now. We will find out during the trial. My chump of the week has to go to Jack Morris.
Cause you're a chump.
Come on, man. I know you old. I know, Shohei is Asian, but come on, man. You can't be using Asian stereotypes, period, but especially on national television, man. You cannot do that. That'll wrap it up here for our chump of the week. Let's now get to our sports free zone. There was an earthquake on Saturday morning in Haiti on the western side of the island. Thousands of people, unfortunately, have passed away. This is 11 years after the earthquake in 2010. 10. They're dealing with not just the earthquake.
It's been that long?
Yeah, they're dealing with the earthquake. They're dealing with COVID-19. They're dealing with an unstable government because of the assassination of their previous president. A lot is going on. Man, we got to pray for them. They were dealing with, did I mention the storm that came through too? Did I mention that?
Mm-mm.
It was a storm on Monday that came through Haiti. Yeah, man, a lot, man. So let's remember those people from Haiti. There's a lot of Haitians in this area, a lot of Haitians in like Florida, in New York, and I believe Boston. Man, I know a lot of people have family down there. I have friends, Haitian friends. So yeah, man, got to pray for them. Hopefully things get better for them. Afghanistan, unrest in Afghanistan after the United States pulled out their troops several weeks ago. The Taliban is in control already. And
that's was kind of expected for me anyways.
Yeah, we kind of knew this was going to happen, unfortunately.
I don't think we had come to grips of what was actually going to happen and how quickly it was going to happen like that. But yeah.
So yeah, we the United States goes over there in Afghanistan after September 11th, talking about Al Qaeda, and their base was there. And then a couple years later, transitioned to Iraq with Saddam Hussein. So things kind of, and still the U.S. had missions and obviously bases and things going on there. But, we were in Iraq for so long, and then transitioned back to Afghanistan, trying to create a democracy and all sorts of stuff like that. And there was some progress. There were plenty. There were enough people who were enough Afghanistan citizen.
Afghani.
Afghani. You're right. I was.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was sitting there like, man, what is the correct name again? I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were those who really wanted the Americans there to at least make things better, because with the Taliban there, especially for women and children, it was very oppressive to them.
Right.
But as Americans, we always do American things also.
Get ourselves involved in stuff that we shouldn't get involved in.
Yeah, and we try to put our values on a culture that has their own values that are just, when you think about it in the grand scheme, just as good as ours. Like, we're not better over here. Yeah, we have democracy, but some countries don't need democracy, and let those countries deal with those situations. So we've been there for basically 20 years.
Yeah.
President Biden made his push during the election campaign that we're going to get out of Afghanistan, and he was gung-ho about that. And I believe that was his biggest mistake there. He gave a very definitive promise. If I'm elected, we're going to get out of there in a certain amount of time, without knowing everything that's been going on.
Right.
We then find out that President Trump, while he was in office, decided to make a deal with the Taliban.
Don't be rude.
And, to basically assist with the U.S. getting out, and the Taliban basically taking control of the country. So you have that going on before Biden even got there. President Obama didn't really... There were efforts to try and get the U.S. out, but that failed. Biden was obviously there. So maybe that's why Biden thought, hey, I could get it done because things should be better now. 4 years after I had left, things should be better. But it wasn't. It wasn't better. And, the Taliban took over. Videos of individual Taliban in the street basically are blocking Afghanis who want to get to the airport to flee the country with U.S. assistance. There are people who are scared because they're like, look, I have documentation saying that I can leave the country because, I'm trying to get refugee status, but I can't even get to the airport because there's checkpoints along the way. and they're beating and caning, even killing people who want to flee, basically saying that, hey, you shouldn't be wanting to leave the country. You should be here to try and help. The Afghanis that don't trust the Taliban are scared. It's a lot going on. But yeah, man, the U.S., did you ever read the book, The Great Gatsby?
A long, long time ago.
It was at the very end of the book. But do you remember the line where one of the characters discusses Tom and Daisy? You remember Tom and Daisy?
Yeah.
And they say Tom and Daisy basically go to a city, make a mess of everyone's life in the city,
right,
and then dip.
Yeah.
And in The Great Gatsby, that's what happened. They went to New York. They made a mess in numerous people's lives. And then just was like, all right, we're out. About to go to Chicago. We're out.
Deuces.
And that's the U.S. We go to countries, make a mess, and then when we want out, we just say, all right, we're good.
Right.
We're about to dip.
I honestly think we should have just rolled out when they got bin Laden.
And that was another thing. It was all, we're trying to find bin Laden, da-da-da-da. That happened, how many years ago was that? Was that 2009 or 10?
When we got him?
Yeah, like or 11, one of those years.
It might have been 9, come to think about it.
It was, one of those. It was 9 or 10
early,
or 11.
It was early in...
It was in the first term of Obama's term.
It was early in his first term. Yeah. It happened just randomly in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I remember Sunday night. I remember watching Sunday Night Baseball.
And that joint just cut off.
And they just were like, they even spoke about it, like they broke it. Well, they didn't break in. The announcers during the game brought it up and was like, hey, we killed bin Laden. And like people in the crowd are like cheering, but nothing's going on in the game to be cheering. And then you realize people are seeing it on their cell phones, what's happening. Yeah. And I remember downtown DC, people went to the White House, celebrated, da-da-da-da. But, that's us Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't learned from the Russians either, so.
Man.
Nah, Russians did the same thing. That didn't work out too well.
U.S. is number 1 in athletics and the military.
Perfect.
That is it. Eminem. Saw this on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
People were talking about Eminem, and someone asked, why has Eminem's music not aged well? And I'm like, I think it just hasn't aged well because of the subject matter, and not that, look, hip hop is misogynistic. Hip hop is violent. Hip hop is sexually suggestive or sexually explicit. I'm not going to sit here and act naive and sit here and be like hip hop is conscious. There's a lot of that. And especially now, it's most rappers, they're not even talking about real violence. They're just more talking about the money they make. Like gangster rap isn't really in anymore.
Gangster rap, there is no such thing as gangster rap.
Everyone's talking about money and the women and the sex game, blah, 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 blah. Well, people, so it made me think about Eminem. I'm like, but Eminem, though, like going back and listening to his old music,
he killed his mom on like every record.
Yeah, to me, it's very cringy. Like, I cannot play, especially the Marshall Mathers EP.
What? That was like one of his best.
Yeah, but it's wild. Like you mentioned, killing his mother, killing his ex-wife, going around slaughtering homosexuals.
My dad's gone crazy.
Yeah, that it's.
Yo, I don't care what anybody says. I liked all those albums, except maybe one. And I think
the last one
I think I only say except only one because I didn't even listen to it.
The last one that I really liked is the Eminem Show. That's the last one I really liked.
Oh, was it Relapse?
Relapse was good. It was good.
It
was good,
but it didn't really listen to because he was off his drugs.
Yeah, but Relapse was good, but it was different. It was more poppy.
Yeah.
But And it was good for the first time. Once he then went to the next album, which was still a little poppy, he was like, all right. But then it's almost like, yo, he's talking about his life now. He's rich. His mother's not really in his life. Seems like he has another significant other. Like his problems are going to be a little different now. And maybe that's why. But yeah, listening to his old music is really cringy. Like, I don't feel comfortable playing that with Rosie in the car. Like, I don't.
You're not supposed to.
Like, I don't feel
unless she likes Eminem. You know what I'm saying? Unless she likes
She did
Eminem
like Eminem more
back
younger.
then.
And that's the thing.
But see, y'all were younger. Y'all didn't even realize what you were listening to.
No. I knew what it was listened to. I knew it was so bad that I made sure my parents didn't know I was listening to Eminem. That's how bad it was.
You would have never made it out the house, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was when Eminem just broke, I was in middle school. But the Marshall Mathers EP came out when I was in 8th grade, and I remember because people at school got it, so we listened to it.
I forgot
in 8th grade.
Man.
And then the Eminem show came out, I believe, when I was in 10th or maybe 11th grade.
Jeez.
And and then he also had the D12 group, the albums they had and stuff.
Purple Hills.
It's just it's cringy now, man. It really is. I cannot put that in the car and blast it on the road because people are gonna look at me crazy. They're gonna look at me and I'm like, yo, what are you listening to? Like you say, every song he's killing his mother.
Em was wild and I loved it, yo.
Kim is, getting on his nerves, and I'm just like
Kim was in the back of a car,
taped up, always talking about Mariah Carey, so much that she then came up with her song.
Who wouldn't want to talk about Mariah Carey though? You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, man.
If you could make money off of that, I would definitely talk about her too.
It was not a good look for her. And that's why now, even when he comes up with stuff, I'm kind of like, I don't really want to listen to this because when you were,
you don't know.
When you were really good, your subject matter was like really, and that's the thing.
You don't know what you're gonna get. You're not sure what you're gonna get. That's what it is.
And let me read this tweet verbatim because this was the best explanation that I saw for what someone said about Eminem. And it's from Quintessential on Twitter. He said, shock raps were just destined to age terribly. And that's what he made a long living off of, even if the technical ability of his raps were elite. So lyrically, yes, the wordplay, the vocabulary, the flow, the bars, A1. That's what makes Eminem one of the greatest rappers of all time. But at the same time, you're like, yo, but your music is aging terribly. And that was a great explanation. Yeah, it aged terribly.
I got you.
But at the same time, we can't knock that he actually is a good lyricist. So, yep. That will wrap it up here.
I'm going to have to blast Eminem during the week just to see what happens.
That'll wrap it up here for our sports free zone. Let's now get to our Reddit topic of the week. Every week we go on Reddit, find an interesting topic, bring it here for you all. I saw something from Reddit, and it was a quote from Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. And she had an interesting, and I wish, geez, don't tell me I lost it. Man, I don't have it.
I got you. Hold on.
Oh, I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back in the text
Here
message.
you go. It's coming. There you go. Right now.
I got it. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So Jeannie Buss was asked about the play-in tournament in the NBA. And she said, quote, I could see where it's kind of fun for one game, but I don't want to diminish what happens in the regular season. They like to say that it combats tanking, and I think tanking would be best served by losing draft picks, something that hurts the basketball department. And there was a full quote She said, I obviously see the excitement of it. If we would have lost 2 games, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs at all. And that's a tough pill to swallow. When you've been in the top 8 for the entire season, you never dropped out of the playoff position, but yet, you can lose 2 games, and that's what happened to Golden State. They were at the 8th spot, and then they ended up losing to us and then to Memphis, and they didn't make it into the playoffs. I could see where it's kind of fun for 1 game, but I don't want to diminish what happens in the regular season. He says, then she goes on to say, I like to say that it combats tanking, and I think tanking would be best served by losing draft picks, something that hurts the basketball department, as opposed to a financial punishment, right? Because the general manager's job is based on wins and losses. The general manager's job isn't based on how many season tickets you sell or how many sponsors. So she had that to say about it. Now, made me think about some proposals for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, let's stick with the NBA play-in. Should the NBA play-in tournament remain?
I don't think it should be 1 game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in the 10th spot, you got to win 2 to go in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Say you're in 1 and done. I think it should be a series.
Mm.
I think if you do a play-in tournament, I think it should be a series. So you have an extra series to get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I think they should do it that way. I don't think they should just do a one and done. But then again, others could say, it's like, well, anything could happen in any game. You know what I'm saying? So you got 1 game to just do what you do. But I think it should be a series instead of just a 1 game or 2 to win type deal.
Now, how do you set that up without creating a competitive disadvantage for the other teams that are waiting for this series to end?
Is it really a competitive
according to
these
players, yes. According to them. That's what they say. They don't want to be waiting a few days after the postseason.
I mean, I don't think I don't know, man. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. You might be rusty for the first quarter or 2, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But then again, you got to think about it on the other side. They just played a series. So they haven't had the rest that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So even on that degree, it's like you're kind of at an advantage because you're rested and ready to go while they're putting in all this work. That's a whole series, mind you, a whole series ahead of yours. You know what I'm saying? So it can be seen on both sides because, some players feed off of that constantly playing and going. But then some of them you could see where some games they're just flat out dead. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a toss up. You know what I'm saying? But I do think it should be a series and not just a 1 win based on your playoff spot. You go in, or you have to win 2 to get in. You know what I'm saying? I think it should be literally a series and then go.
What do you think about this? And I literally just thought about it. Let's say you structure the season, the regular season, to end. First of all, should the play-in be for? Let's get that straight. Which team should be playing in the play-in? Should it be should it just be the last? Should it be the last 2 versus the teams 7 and 8 playing against teams 9 and 10? We're leaving it at that.
Like it's been, yeah.
Okay,
or
so should we?
Or are you thinking that
This is what
9 and 10 play their series? The winner that plays the 8 seed.
This is what I'm thinking it should be. I just had an idea.
Okay.
You end the season on Friday.
Okay.
or even Saturday. You have the 7 seed play the 10 seed.
Right.
And the 8 seed play the 9 seed.
Right.
In a best of 3 series in both conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And you have them play on Monday at the higher seed, Tuesday at the lower seed, and if you need a game 3, Thursday back at the higher seed.
Okay.
So yes, it is 3 games in 4 nights or 4 days. But you have the other 6 teams in each conference still get their week rest. And you can still then start the postseason normally on the next Saturday. So whoever wins, if it has to go 3 games, they then go to face the next team either Saturday or Sunday, depending on how the scheduling goes. But what do you think about that? A 3-game series, Monday, Tuesday, and if necessary, Thursday.
Yeah. You know I'm down with the series.
And I'm cool with that as a fan. And honestly, you could set up the games kind of like the NCAA tournament. There's going to be 4 games. 4 games for Monday and Tuesday. And you can set it up where one of the games is probably... Look, we saw with the pandemic, and I understand the pandemic. I understand we're going to eventually get back to normal life. But we saw that at the end of the day, if you put an NBA game on in the middle of the day, people will still watch it.
People will still watch
it. People will still watch it.
Didn't we have a football game early too?
We had a few football games that played during the. We had a game that was played. We had a football game that was played on a Wednesday, I believe,
at
in the middle of the day,
like 5, like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
We had that, and people watched it. Ratings were whatever.
Right.
Like if you tell the NBA fan, hey, it's only 1 week, you got to commit that you might have to watch this game on your cell phone, or you may have to watch, or you may take the day off. Say, hey man, just like the NCAA tournament, I'm taking the day off to watch these NBA games.
Right.
You can have a game at 1, a game at 3:30, game at 6, and a game at 9. And then you do it the next day at the alternate team's home. And if you got to go to a game 3, you do it on Thursday. That way you still get so everyone else gets a week break. They can relax. A week isn't that long where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to get rusty. And it's a break for the other 12 teams, 6 from each conference. It's not a situation where, like, you know, we saw this with, remember the Lakers back in 2001, they swept everyone leading up to the finals.
Right.
So they always had a break, an extended break. And the 76ers went to game 7 with the Bucks. So you had a team that only played 4 games and a team that played 7. Then they started the finals. I mean, maybe you could say the Lakers were rusty, but they ultimately won in 5 games.
Right.
And would have probably swept them if Iverson didn't go off for 48.
Yeah, and that was game 1, right?
Yeah, and that was game 1.
Yeah,
like, come on, man. But that was one team dealing with the break.
Right.
This is 12 teams dealing with the break.
Right. No, I feel you.
And I don't believe you're going to be at a real competitive disadvantage if one team plays 2 games back to back, or even 3 games in 4 nights, and then have to play you 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So yeah, I think we just figured out the NBA.
Yeah, we just figured it out.
We just figured out the NBA.
Perfect.
Adam Silver, we want our money.
Yes, we want royalties for this.
We want royalties for
this. We said it here. We want royalties. What about this, BigThad? And we've been championing this for years on the Sports Reality Podcast. Just start the regular season on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Start it on Christmas Day. Now, if the players are cool with it, I would like that. Now, some players are going to say, look, summertime is literally the only time I get to have with family. If I'm a team that's playing deep into the postseason, I don't have much time. Because think about it. We think about summer break differently because in the DMV, school for the most part doesn't start until the last week of August or after Labor Day.
After Labor Day, yeah. Yep.
If you go down south, they've already been 2 weeks in school.
Jeez. And in some places, they've been going to school year round.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If the NBA players would have to agree upon it, but if they agree upon it, it'll be so perfect to just start on Christmas Day. So you avoid the NFL.
Right.
You avoid the NFL. You avoid the ratings drop that you get from competing with the NFL. You pretty much get every Sunday after February, the first week in February.
Yeah.
Every Sunday you're going to dominate the ratings.
Saturdays it might be a little tough.
Saturdays you'll dominate
because
college
because
basketball.
Just the bowl season.
Oh, that you're talking about that. Okay.
When the beginning of the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because from Christmas to just after the third week of January.
Yeah.
Is bowl season. So.
And let's be real. This postseason, when did it start? I'm going to look up the dates.
Yeah, look that up because.
And it was 72 games, but I'm going to look up the date. 2021 NBA playoffs. Because we already know, okay, there's 16 teams that make it. That means 14 teams don't make it. When you don't make it, you get all the break you want.
When did the Olympics start? July?
Yeah.
Mid-July. So they had about not even 3 weeks. They had like a week between the finals and the Olympics.
Yeah, but that was for two teams.
Yeah.
Which ultimately affected 3 players.
Yeah. So before that,
the start of
3 weeks. Say 3 weeks. Three, almost a month.
The start of the postseason was on May 23rd.
Okay, yeah. So about a month. Yeah.
So for May 22nd, excuse me. So for 14 teams, you are now was 72 games. So that's something we got to think about. When you add 10 games, are you adding the 10 games? Are you adding the 10 games so you still end around the same time, or are you stretching it out? But let's put it like this.
You can end it. No, you can end it still around them because remember, you got to think about it.
All-Star break was long.
Yeah, and they spaced games out between games. You know what I'm saying? I think they even postponed a few games because of COVID.
Oh, also, though, we do got to remember they did have back-to-backs and they still have back-to-backs. It's just you had a lot of home back-to-backs, or you'll be in...
Or the home-away back-to-back.
Yeah, or they even did if the Wizards were playing the Hornets, they'll play them on a Friday and a Saturday in Washington.
Right.
And then the next time they then play them in Charlotte, and it might have been another back-to-back, or they played and then, they tried to do a lot of that due to COVID. Right. Just keep the teams in the city. You could add the 10 games in between. Yeah. But think about this: for 14 teams, by the middle of May or late May, you're already not playing.
Right.
After the first round, you got 8 teams that ultimately are out in another 2 weeks.
Right.
So for 8 teams, it is now the second week of June. You're still playing.
And that's if it goes to 7 games.
Yes, and that's if it goes to 7 games. But so now we added 14, that's now 22 teams. Yeah. That got all the time from June to August if you're in the South, or June to September if you're on the East or West Coast.
That's just for kids going into school.
have time with their family.
Right.
It sounds easy for me because I'm not wealthy. It sounds easy for me because I'm not an NBA player or an athlete that has to train year round. So, family time is scarce. But look, if you want to maximize the league, there's concessions.
Right.
You got to make. You want to get those Supermax deals? Well, you got to make sure that the league is making as much money as possible.
Very true.
And that's the thing where a lot of the older players, they kind of are like, hey, we sacrifice so you all can do better and be better. And I feel like this generation of players got to make a little more sacrifice and say, hey, how are we going to expand this game? The ratings are taking a hit, so it's dealing with the basketball revenue. I know they're getting a huge TV deal every 10 years, but still, it could be even bigger,
right.
Which means it could be even more money. So I think that's what they should do. Start the season, Christmas Day, still do your 82 games, have the postseason, have the finals end the way it did. It ended in July.
Right.
And that's only for 2 teams. And yes, that's what happens. If you get to the finals, part of it is getting to the finals. That's the reward. If you win the finals, you win. Fortunately, that summer, you might not be with your kid around a lot.
That's true.
But you got to make concessions. But like I said, easy for me because I'm not a millionaire, nor am I an athlete. One more. The NBA draft.
Uh-huh.
The last few years, we've been hearing quite a few people say the draft is unethical or the draft is unconstitutional because you're forcing these athletes to go to places that they might not have wanted to go. And they were like, in any other profession, you can choose what team you want to go to, blah, blah, blah. And even in sports, there is that. Because when you think about soccer, European soccer, or
right.
Soccer anywhere in the world, players are signed. Correct that?
Yep.
There's no draft for these players. You know more than I do. How do these teams, like soccer teams, deal with it, though?
What deal with
like getting new players?
New players?
Like especially new young players.
Well, most of the young players are already in their farm system.
Okay. So they come up
playing,
kind of similar to baseball.
They come up through their club soccer, teams. And then they
you could sign them. You could sign them to their academy at like 12, 13. They work their way up, and then they're automatically when they get promoted, they could play on the A team.
Right. Now and then after that point, it's more of what they call transfers.
Yes.
So it's almost kind of like trading.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like trades, but it's big money depending. So transfers a lot of times can be just a lease term period. You know what I'm saying? So they'll pay a transfer fee, and then you might have that player for, let's say, 3 years or whatever. Now, a lot of times, a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll lease a player to another team in another league, and then they see how the player's progressing, and then we'll take them back, like before the lease is done. But of course, it's another fee or whatever. But other than that, is this, hey, I'm release my contract or my contract's ending, then I could go ahead and another team could just pick me up straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So like some of the players in the MLS, they can be, other teams are, they're looking at future players because, the big money's over in Premier League and all those other leagues. So, MLS is kind of getting money up a little bit, but nothing compared to over there. But they do look at players in MLS to see how good they're getting or whatever, and then we'll do that same transfer from MLS to there, or even some MLS teams will do the same thing. Well, they'll get a player, maybe a player not doing too well or even getting older, but it's a big name, and they'll come over. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little the way they do things is a little wild, but Yeah, it's crazy, man. But it's not like here where you got to trade draft picks and for multiple players or anything like that. Nah, you're literally getting your player. Like you can trade for players, per se, but it's more of you're going after this one player itself. So you might have to pay the club a certain amount of money to get that player, and everything is considered in there. Like say if Manchester City went after Messi,
which I was advocating for.
They would have to pay a ridiculous amount of money just to get Messi on the team.
To the previous team, correct?
Yes. It's like it's wild. Like they would have to pay a ridiculous amount because everything is considered in like jersey sales, ticket sales, stuff like that. Like right now, they actually said something today that Michael Jordan made, I think initially like $7 million in a day or something like that. Off of
The ceiling is the roof.
after Messi signed with Pierre Saint Germain.
Because
PSG.
So he have some sort of stake in PSG?
No, he has the uniforms are under Jordan brand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're under Jordan brand. It just happened recently, like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And he gets a very small percentage of their sales from jerseys because he outfits them and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he made like $7 million the day Messi came over because everybody bought Messi jerseys. I think PSG made I think they said close to $200 million.
Perfect.
Just off of jersey sales. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy the amount of money these teams have over there.
So that is the model overseas. And I think that model works if you're going to actually create a farm system.
By far.
Where you're getting these players at young ages. We're not doing that in the United States for several reasons. Part of it, we're just used to the whole, you go to college, playing high school, you go to college, and then you get drafted. Part of it is honestly along racial lines, I believe. We don't have a lot of, in the sports where athletes are able to still be drafted but then go to college, are sports that Black and Latino athletes typically in America do not play. Yes, baseball has Latinos, but they go overseas to get Latinos. And then Black Americans aren't really playing. I believe the MLB is something like, I believe it's less than 10% now. Are Black Americans.
It's a small number. It's a small number.
And the same thing, we see that, if you go to college, yes, there's new NIL rules, but, you can't get drafted by an NFL or NBA team and still then go to college. That hasn't happened yet. So until that happens, I think the draft model is still the best because honestly, we cannot have, for example, and look, I don't hate the Lakers. I actually like LeBron James. He's one of my favorite players that I've in the league, one of my favorite all-time players. They have Russell Westbrook now, one of my favorite players also. But what we don't want is Cade Cunningham coming out of college and then going to play with the Lakers because they just had the money to sign him. And True. And I've heard that argument. Well, let's just be to the highest bidder. What should the league do about the draft? Because there still is a problem with tanking. And I know they tried to fix the odds where basically the bottom 4 teams or the bottom 3 teams have the same odds of getting the number 1 overall pick. And we know what odds mean. That means the chance at you getting it. But what should the NBA do when it comes to the NBA draft then?
That's tough, man. That's real tough because I don't know, man. That's tough. It's because I was thinking, I was like, maybe let me think outside of NFL or NBA or think about the NFL or even MLB. And the first pick of the draft is usually the worst team in the league. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, in let's say even MLS or NFL, well, actually in all these sports, that top pick might not do anything for you. Might not make your team any better. I mean, but I think it kind of helps a little bit because, like, look at OKC.
Yeah.
OKC was one of the worst teams in the league last season. And what they didn't even get the first pick.
Yeah, they didn't get the first pick, no.
You know what I'm saying? So, unlike the NFL, where NFL, you're the worst team in the league, you get the first pick unless you gave that pick away in a trade in previous years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, that NBA wise, they do have the little lottery, so there's a chance that worst team might not get the first pick or anything like that. But so far, it hasn't really turned out too well for a lot of these teams that got the first pick. Besides maybe Golden State.
Well, they got moves.
What did they get?
Wiseman, or they got the second pick. Was it the second pick?
I think it might have been the second pick. Not this
Wiseman?
year, the previous year. I think it was Wiseman.
I can't remember who it was. I know they got Wiseman, but I can't remember if he was the first or the second. But who was he was the second because Anthony Edwards was no.
Anthony Edwards, What? No,
I can't even remember.
Yeah. But
it's a blur.
It still hasn't. I mean, you think about it. He could have been. Let's say if he was the best player in college, whatever, and comes to Golden State. It still didn't turn out too well for them this season. You know what I'm saying? Granted, they had to do the play-in and loss, whatever. But in normal terms, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. So
Anthony Edwards was number one, Minnesota.
Okay.
I mean, yes, and then James Wiseman, number two.
There you go. Minnesota, first pick in the draft. Terrible. You know what I'm saying? Unlike in a lot of the sports where that number one pick is a really good thing. Like a really good thing for you. Most of them, like NHL, number one pick in the draft, most likely will be playing on the NHL squad
pretty quickly.
Within the next year. You know what I'm saying? Baseball, you could be the first pick in the draft, and you might not even get to the major leagues for another 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to be like a Bryce Harper where it's, all right, a few months later.
Where it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, where he's ridiculously good. You know,
by the way, I hate that rule with baseball where they can then say, okay, we know you're good enough, but we're going to send you to the minors for a month so we can get that extra year before you get the free agency. That's what I'm dealing with in my road to the show. Obviously I started in the minors. Right. Played the whole year in the minors, went from AA to AAA.
Right.
The next season, I go to spring training with the team, but they send me to AAA. Right. And literally, like 2 weeks later, they're like, "All right, let's bring you up to the majors." But because of that 2 week,
it doesn't start
the whole year. Yeah, I miss out on that year.
Yep. So, but yeah, man, I don't know if there's anything we could do, man. To be honest with you.
I have an idea.
What's that?
Idea number one. How about you just say, hey, all teams that miss the playoffs have the same amount of odds of getting the number one overall pick.
I mean, don't they technically, even though they say odds, the odds are this, don't they still pretty much all have the same odds?
No, nah. I mean, there's situations where
it's a roll of the ball.
It is a roll of the ball, but it's the amount of lottery balls in there that create that.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, like it's the amount
they have a certain amount of balls for each team in that.
Yes, it's kind of like how we did our fantasy draft for our league, where it's like, and we did it in like inverse order. Whoever was number one had the least amount. So obviously, that's why. Yes, so it's weighted.
Well, see, the thing is, I just growing up and seeing the draft, it's like you just see the ball come out, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and they used to do that. I remember when they did that. Now they don't even show. They just pull out the envelopes and be like, here you go. This is what happened behind the scenes that y'all ain't know.
It's like being in the bingo hall and you just see them spinning the balls around. Or something, and it's like, okay, here, let's take this.
So that's what. Yeah, it's weighted right now.
Okay.
And obviously, and yes, there's situations where the person who had the least odds went up higher. We've seen that. We've
Right.
seen years with a person who had the best odds ended up being the third or fourth pick, but that's what happens. I'm saying, what if you just say, hey, the 14 teams that did not make the playoffs, no matter your record, you got the same amount of odds of getting the number one overall pick.
Right.
Which then be like, well, why am I losing all these games? Like on purpose. Losing doesn't help my odds. So why don't I try to win with the players I have to build for the future? Or that coach maybe needs to keep his job, so he's going to try and coach his hardest to keep the job. Or the GM's going to say, hey, I know we're not making the playoffs, but I want to keep my job. Let's try and win these games. You might have that. So that's option number one. What do you think about this option, then?
What's up?
Each team in the NBA, if you don't want to do the draft, has in inverse order. So basically the worst team has basically a salary cap to spend on each prospect. So for example, let's say the Detroit Pistons were the worst team, and they weren't, but let's say they were the worst team.
Right.
And Cade Cunningham, and actually let's use the Rockets because I think they were the worst team.
Okay.
Cade Cunningham is out. The Rockets can sign Cade Cunningham to a contract of let's do 15 years for 3 years. But the team like the Milwaukee Bucks that won the NBA Finals, because they won, they can only sign Cade Cunningham to maybe a $750,000 contract per year, and they got to be there for 4 years.
Ooh.
So it's like, okay, do I want to go with the defending team and take $750,000 a year, or this team that is building, and it could be my team, and we might be bad for the first couple of years, but I get $5 million a year,
Right.
and my contract is shorter, meaning it's only 3 years, and I could be a free agent. And you do it in that order. So each team, you drop it down. So you'd be like, all right, obviously some of the worst teams, I could still kind of choose which one of these teams. Or if you're like, yo, really, I'm not worried about money. I could take one of these teams that made the playoffs. Or you could be like, hey, I think I would fit with the defending champion, and I'll take this huge pay cut. And like I said, huge. We went from $5 million to $750,000. Or because as a rookie, we could drop it down to what? $250,000? Let's make it real interesting.
You can't do that.
I believe in the NBA, the rookie minimum is, and especially minimum, I believe in the second round, it's something like $250,000, I believe, as a rookie.
Really?
I think it's really low. Let me look it up. NBA rookie minimum salary.
Because I thought the league minimum was.
Sorry, it is $925,000. But let's restructure.
Because I thought league minimum was like $1 million. So
I know the vet minimum is different.
Yeah, vet minimum second different for sure. Okay, so 9 something.
Yeah, that's what they're saying according to Statista.com.
That ain't too bad though.
But let's make it even. I'm gonna look up.
You can still do $750.
If you have 0 years of experience, the NBA minimum is $898,000.
Okay.
And I believe, and those are for the undrafted free agents and typically late second round picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically who ends up getting those.
So, and that's G League too, right?
And there's the G League, but then there's the G League two-way players, and that's why I believe I got confused.
Okay.
Some of those guys get like the $250 or 300,000
because they're getting paid off of G League money.
Yeah, and then if they move up, then I think it's like prorated to what like the minimum would have been. Something along those lines. What do you think about that? Where you just say, hey, the worst team in the NBA can pay you the most and can give you the shortest contract to then give you the option of getting out of there.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, it's almost like, yeah, you might go to the defending champs, but there's no guarantee you're going to play at that point. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
you're going to be there longer.
Even as good as you are in college or whatever.
And you're going to be there longer.
Right.
They're going to have your rights for even longer because you decided, hey, I'm going to stay with this team, but I'm going to get paid less.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a conundrum.
All right, before we get out of here, let's recap what we discussed. Our proposal for the NBA. The play-in tournament should be a true tournament, 3-game series.
Yep. NBA starts on Christmas.
Let's explain the 3-game series starting on after the regular season.
Saturday.
Starting on Monday.
Is it Monday? I thought you said Saturday.
Well,
no. The regular series is going to start on Saturday. Yeah, so Monday.
So the play-in series would be the 7 versus 10, the 8 versus 9.
Right. Starting on
in
Monday.
Each conference. They play on Monday. Game 1. Game 2 on Tuesday at the lower seed.
Yep.
And if a game 3 back at the higher seed on Thursday to then be ready for the regular postseason starting on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Proposal number 2, just starting the NBA season on Christmas Day.
Yep.
And proposal number 3, adjusting the draft where either all non-playoff teams have the same odds of getting the number 1 overall pick, which would help eliminate tanking, or having rookies sign with teams and the worst team be able to sign the most lucrative and short-term deal for prospects. Those are our proposals, man.
Come on, Adam Silver.
Yeah, Adam Silver, the competition committee, team owners / governors.
Holler at us.
We need some royalties if you do any of this. Perfect. Because let it happen. I'm going to remember this
we got to
episode.
record it. We got to record it.
It's on YouTube. It's on the server. It's on the RSS feed. Everything.
Right. all we got to do is just tag you. That's all we got to do.
Send a cease and desist order if y'all do this without crediting us.
Perfect. We'll find a good enough lawyer. Don't worry about that.
We know attorneys. We do.
Right. We will find a legal team. I know so many lawyers right now. It's not even funny. Even lawyers that are not even like lawyers yet. I know them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. Oh man.
And plus we got Harold Loss. You know what I'm saying?
He'll be able to talk it through for us.
Right.
Oh,
man. Be calling y'all Bamas and everything. It'd be game over, son.
Yep. Before we get out of here, any news broke while we were recording that?
Hold on, bro. Let me see real quick. I don't think so. New England Patriots are beating the Eagles 19-0 right now.
Oh, how is Cam Newton doing? Because I know they try to come for Cam Newton's neck. And I'm a huge Cam Newton protector.
Cam has thrown he's been 8 of 9 for 103 yards and a touchdown. Mac Jones is 7 for 11 for 84 yards.
So they're both playing about the same.
Yeah.
They were hyping up Mac Jones so much last week.
Yeah.
Like on the Thursday, because they played Thursday. So ESPN and Fox Sports and NFL Network were talking about, oh, Mac Jones, he looks so well. I'm like, hold on. So y'all not going to talk about Dwayne Haskins and what he did to the Eagles that same night? Perfect.
Oh, man.
Dwayne Haskins was balling. We're not going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Mac Jones's 7 for 11 and 88 yards that he had. You know,
we ain't talking about Dwayne Haskins.
But we're not gonna talk about Dwayne Haskins, very efficient and I think he was 16 for like 19 for like 180 something yards.
Potomac.
I know you don't like him.
Perfect.
What did Bullets do to you? Like Bullets ain't in y'all level.
Bullets didn't. No, it's not what Bullets did to us. It's what he did to Maryland, son. That's where it all brawls down to.
I was on Clubhouse.
I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. If he went to Maryland, he might not be playing in the NFL right now. But
I don't. Yeah, as a quarterback, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? But
during that time period, yeah, I don't know.
It really all depends. I mean, it's a crapshoot when you come to Maryland. But
now with Mike Loxley, though,
it's been getting up there again. You know what
I told a group of people on Clubhouse.
Actually, you know what? If Loxley was still there, Haskins would have came. I think Haskins would have came.
That was when Loxley went to Alabama, correct?
Yeah, that's when he left. Yeah.
I told people
because he was interim head coach, and they gave it to Randy Edsel, and that was it. Game over. Connecticut.
Terrible.
He came from Connecticut head football coach. Came down to Maryland.
And then who was
and
the
they
dude?
ended up getting fired and then going back to Connecticut.
Went back to Connecticut. And then who was the dude that killed that young man? Rest in peace.
Wow, jeez. Why you go so?
I mean, because that was a tragic thing, man.
No, you went so harsh on like he personally killed him.
I mean, look,
I understand he was in charge of the program.
Look. Let me say this.
But you can't say that he killed. That's dog. He could come after you for
that is liable.
Yeah,
I'm learning that in week one in my mass media law.
I'm trying to help you out here.
That is liable.
Jesus.
I already learned that in week one.
Come on.
But nah, man.
Defamation of character.
Look. These college coaches, they control so much.
They do.
That it's like, and they ingrain these young men and women that do play the sport, but especially football, like this culture that you just got to do it this way all the time, and if you don't, then you're weak. And the reason I used to think that, but when I heard Arian Foster speak about it on his podcast, he was like, why are these coaches cussing me out and like in very disrespectful ways? He's like, you can be tough with me without calling me all sorts of names, like especially if you're my coach. Like you're not my opponent, you're my coach, you know. And they're like, it builds character. No, it doesn't. Like y'all are just using it. He said, because I went to the pros and didn't have a coach cussing me out like that,
right?
Because the dynamic was different. He said I was making money now. He was an undrafted free agent. He said, I wasn't getting cussed out the way I was when I was at Tennessee, when I was the star running back.
Right.
So, man, that dynamic, that can go. Like you can be tough on them without being disrespectful. There is a clear line. It's not a thin line; it's a clear line. But anyway, how did we get to this? Oh, about Dwayne Haskins. Okay, so I remember now. I was on Clubhouse the other day, and I said, now that the playoffs got extended, I was like, in the next 4 to 5 years, don't be surprised if Maryland's in the playoffs. And people were like, you're Maryland football? Like, what? I said, look, Loxley's been getting better talent. We've been recruiting more in-state, where a lot of this talent goes where? Alabama, goes to Ohio State, goes to Michigan, goes to Virginia Tech, goes to, So I said, look, we're eventually going to be in the playoffs. And yes, it's 12 teams, but we're going to be one of the 12 teams in there. And I was like, they started laughing. I was like, look, man, y'all better hope Clubhouse ain't a thing in the next few years, because I'm going to definitely remember this. Be like, y'all remember when y'all said this? Right. All right. Yeah. Eat crow. Anyways, BigThad, thank you for everything that you do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Yep. I forgot the theme music, but it's all good.
It's all good. Hey, we need to give a shout out to our cousin Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Frank does, yo. Honestly, I don't know exactly what he does anymore.
Well, I'll tell you when we stop recording.
All right,
I'll tell you.
But shout out to him, man, because every time I turn around, my man's living his best life. He might be working, he might not be working. I can't tell the difference right now, but Shout out to him for living his best life. Love you, Frankie.
Also, shout out to our cousin Chrissy. Perfect. It's her birthday tomorrow, so happy early birthday. Can't say that we forgot, you know.
Currently in Istanbul.
Yeah. Perfect. Didn't tell anyone though.
I mean, she told me.
Didn't tell anyone
she told
recently.
Me months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Months ago. How am I supposed to remember?
She said she's going on her birthday for her birthday, yo.
Yeah, so, and I don't that was months ago she said that.
It's Leo season, bro. So
and then I was like, hey, I need you on the podcast on Thursday. Yeah, that's sure. Then you find out on Wednesday that you're not even in the country and might not have time. Like what?
It's an evil world we live in.
Like, come on. But shout out to her though. Happy birthday.
Definitely. Happy birthday, Chrissy.
Yep. Until next time, everyone. Sports reality. Peace.